Apologies for the delay, folks. We are currently experiencing an itinerant Drac situation. We will now join him in his car. We're not sure if he's being chased by the undead horde or he just fancied a change of scenery. However, he will be doing a product showcase with SirScorp and Rainbow Owl. Over to you, Drac.
Hello, FoamFest. Good to see you again. It's been a while since last year. Lots of exciting things to talk about. I will apologize for any technical difficulties that happened during my segment. I agreed to this, so gosh darn it, I'm going to do it. Despite how do we put this? How do we put this delicately? I may or may not have blown up the coolant tank in an armored vehicle 4 hours ago. So here I am, stuck somewheresville, United States of America. You can believe me or don't, but it's so very nice to be here with all of you, and I am so excited to talk about Rainbow Owl's new products. I love the headband, mate. This is priceless.
Yeah, thanks, man. Cool. Yeah, I'm Rainbow from Rainbow Mods and Props, and we're here to talk about things, I've been told. So I don't know. There's been a lot going on over here at the Rainbow Mods and Props shop, and for some reason I got really deep into 3D printing, and you know what that's like. You kind of open that box, and then you never stop once you're there.
You can't put it back. Yeah. That's the problem. Once you can print more printers with printers, it really they have a habit.
Yeah, they kind of tend to do this, and there's another one over there.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, am I still? Okay, cool. Yeah, so
it is still you, yeah.
It is still me,
so I guess walk us through it. What are your most exciting new items? What have you been working on? I've seen obviously a bunch of your full blaster builds. I've seen in a bunch of the different groups and specs, and you seem to take as much attention to detail and care with like your accessories and your bundles and how you package them, and it's just absolutely brilliant. But we're here to do product showcase, so I assume more than just one-offs. What are your favorite accessories you have going right now?
All right. Well, there's obviously plenty, but got to start with the newest favorite. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but there's this one.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, that is a clear Raider, as you can definitely tell, and it has been modded with a couple of things. First off, it is a breech loading inline clip. So it doesn't have the magwell anymore. It's not shell ejecting. These are just storage of. The one question I always get about these mods is like, is it shell ejecting? No, these are just dart storage shells. Just because they look cool and they store your darts. But that's inline clip system, and the body kit around it is our new Rick Mark II kit. And I say our because this isn't my sole work. It's a collaboration with my good friend Flatten the Skyline. He's also been the mastermind of creating the Rick Mark I kit, and so him and I been working on this pretty much since we brought out the Mark I kit. And yeah, this is just like right now my favorite thing. It's normally resting over there, and whenever I leave my room, like just one dart.
It's good. It's good to hide things like that kind of in your environment that always make you grin. First off, the idea of functional and aesthetically pleasing dart storage is certainly not new to the industry. To see it moving its way into the hobby is great. I love replacing the magwell with something a little more streamlined, a little more spaz-esque. And the collaborative nature of it, it's really good that you mentioned that, because the more that, I get to work with all sorts of other, not just content creators, but creators and designers and etc. And I mean, Addie did a great job of talking about this not an hour ago when she had Luke and Hotcoin on. Like, nobody does anything in this hobby alone, truly. So it's a fantastic looking mod. I'm amazed you have found so far away from a target a clear Raider that is not yellowed. That's very impressive in its own right. So it's a great looking piece.
Yeah,
really
that was probably the most intense thing about this entire thing, finding a clear Raider that actually still looks good. And I eventually found one that has hardly any scratches. So like it I don't know if you can tell, but like the writing and thing, it's still perfectly intact. And so yeah, that's probably the hardest thing to find this one.
I'm trying to think of how old that is. It's every bit of 10 years at this point, right? I mean, that's quite a find. I remember I was trying earlier. I was doing a kit for the barricade, and I decided arbitrarily for no reason other than to complicate my life that nothing but a Bumblebee San Diego Comic-Con edition would do. And so I ended up spending, I think, 3 or 4 months, even with what I like to think is a pretty good network of hobbyists trying to find one. And it still took me forever and a couple $100 to get my hands on one. So it's quite the specimen and very worthy of the kit that you've slathered onto it. It's really, really cool. So that's available, I assume, on your web store. You can buy the kit or a full build.
That is a good thing to say that. The thing that I've been doing for the last 2 weeks is not modding at all. It's actually building my new web shop. So the website is rainbowmods.com, and it's just live. It's not fully functioning yet, so bear with me. This kit will be available through my web shop as well as flattentheskyline.com starting Monday. So I have an entire day to get everything figured out. Yeah, we're going to be selling the kit as well as parts of it. So like the big thing with this kit, the front here is what we call our Ricky. It's a resin printed inline clip choke point device.
How do we wind up with Ricky there? I need more of a story than just we call him Ricky and he's made of resin. All
right, cool. So the story is this is called the Rick kit because originally it was the Rampage inline clip kit, and that sort of comes to Rick, right?
Yes.
And now it fits with the Raider because it could be the Raider inline clip kit. So so that is the Rick Mark II. And so we already had the Rick Mark 1 and the Rick Mark 2. And this little thing here, I think the correct thing, Ricky, was resin inline clip choke point insert. There we go. So
that's excellent acronyming. I love it. I also love that your collaborator is here live in the chat, and he's like, "Did you see that trigger? I created a trigger specifically to get rid of the orange in the blaster, and this prankster prints it in orange first time. It's a great looking trigger."
Yeah, that is our Orange Be Gone kit. So like it replaces the orange part in the handle and the orange trigger with whatever color you printed in this case, orange.
I think that's hilarious, and it does match because it'd be hard to get rid of all the orange through the transparent shell there. So I think that you made the correct decision. Well, congratulations on the new website. Absolutely, highly recommend everybody check that out. I am well aware of the ethos of flying the plane as you fix it, and so oftentimes I find that, especially when you're just getting started, the hardest part for a lot of people mentally in doing any new project or any new collaboration is just to begin. And so it sounds like you don't have that fear matrix installed, and that's going to be excellent in the long run, that you're like, push it out there, get it going. Excellent. Good for you.
You have no idea. Like, there was a lot of sweat and tears last week, and just today during the live stream, I broke the front end of my web shop, and I had my good friend Jairu, who's been from the Dutch Nerf community, who's been helping me a lot to jump in and do 3 hours of hot fixing the shop, so it actually is live and running as we speak.
So that when people click on it, it shows up. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So we've got the inline Raider thing. Is there anything else that you want to feature? Should we rope in BlasterSmith over here?
I have one more thing which I'm very proud of. For some reason, I became the inline clip Big Shock person, and I just build a lot. I like him. It's that kind of thing. And so this year, when a guy called the Time Traveler from the UK brought out an inline Big Shock pistol mod thing, I started reaching out to him and collaborated with him on something that I now call the Traveler. And the Traveler is a Big Shock mod that turns a Big Shock into a 4 to 6 short dart inline clip kit depending on your configuration, and it looks about something like this.
It's pretty handsome. You said that this man was a time traveler from the UK. Where I'm from, we call those doctors.
All right, no, he calls himself the time traveler on Thingiverse. That's how I found him.
I see. Excellent. That looks good.
So these things are really cool. So in its smaller configuration, that is a 4 short dart or 2 elite dart version. And it's fully customizable with top rails or bottom rails or no rails at all. You can print a custom nameplate on the side as well. And So that's a 4-dart one, and in this configuration it holds 6 darts. And the funky thing about this is that actually screws in and out. So we have several different designs of these, and you also have a 4-dart screw-in tip that would then transform this into a 4-dart variant. And the reason behind this is I just really like sort of the LARP gameplay aspect of like, all right, hang on, we get the silencer on the pistol to be ready, and just sort of screw in, and it actually does something. And in this case, it gives it another 2 short dart capacity, and I quite like it. It was a bit tricky to get the system right because obviously it's a stealing issue. The way we've done this is like with a really intricate random printing design, and then there's a couple of O-rings sitting in here. And so now you don't have to worry about O-rings on here. If you lose them, you can just go there and screw it in, and it is perfectly sealed.
Well, that's very novel. Borrowing a little bit of in-strike technology and then, of course, actual breach technology to make something that's fun and functional. I do like the LARPing aspect. So you're, where are you located explicitly?
I'm in southern Germany. And
I thought you were German, and the German LARP scene is a very, very big part of your nerfing scene. Earlier, Archer was talking about, he was like, culturally, nerf is different in different places. And I'm like, culturally, the world is different in different places. And I know that in Germany, LARP comes first in a lot of the foam flinging and boffer world, that you guys have a lot of really scenario-based games, and the aesthetics are far more involved in those games because you guys can... First off, because you could get away with it in the legal aspect, and second off, because culturally it's way more normalized. So it's cool that you've implemented that into some of your designs so that you're getting the aesthetic that you want as well as function that you're looking for.
Yeah, but it's getting the other way around right now. So if I'm allowed to talk to
yes, please.
Actually, in Germany, LARP started the use of dart blasters in Germany, exactly like some kids playing, because at the moment where LARPers needed blasters, you couldn't go to like Toys R Us and get more than one Nerf. There were just no other. Maybe there were 2 if you were really lucky, and that's it. So actually, some LARPers started to say, "Hey, we need more blasters," and that's what they created Bancroft, which then created blaster parts. So there was a demand for LARPers to get stuff. So they said, okay, we need to make stuff to Germany. And then, like now, 11 years later, we actually started playing with Nerf outside of LARP, like I think 4 years ago or 5. And now the community is changing, and we actually have a supporting community. But well, it just started as LARP, and now it's.
Well, that is. I appreciate you letting me know that. I always think about how my first German Nerf campaign is probably going to have to be LARP-based. I can't remember what it's called. It's something, maybe it's called Otherworld. I know that there's like the world's largest, most incredible LARPing event happens in Germany every summer, and I'm excited for that, but I definitely want to get in some Nerf that's more familiar to me. And it sounds great that you guys have done all the groundwork and laid that out so that I could go to something where 315 is a little more. I definitely understand 15-second respawns. I struggle with magic missile from time to time, so that's good to hear.
We don't have that much of magic missiles in LARP that is related to Nerf, so that's
fantastic.
Good for you. Yeah, so I think since we only have like about 9 minutes left.
Well, as long as I've got you and
myself, I'm
correcting me, please explain the t-shirts and what you're up to these past few months.
Yeah, so I was working for Blaster Parts as a part-time blogger, and since COVID hit Germany, I had to stop working for them because they had to stop paying me for it. And so I was like, okay, I need something else to do. And then there was a long-time project on the Blasted Nerf community in Germany, which was this T-shirt, the Blasted the member shirt, with like with the dart and the name and the Blasted tag. And when we started that, we thought about maybe Blaster Parts can make some, or maybe we let them print somewhere, and we figured out to have a company make them, like Blaster Parts, because they're the owner of our forum. It was a big hassle because of stuff, because they're actually a really big company now, and a lot of people have to approve it, and it's just complicated. And I was like, okay, what do I need to make them myself? I need the plotter, which is about 400 euros, and I can make cool stencils to make my blasters too. So I can cut vinyl for stencils, and I can cut HTV, which is heat transfer vinyl, to make shirts. I was like, okay, I'm down to that. And then I need a heat transfer press, another 200 bucks. And then I could actually start making shirts myself. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just doing them myself. That's the easiest way, the least fastest way. We can print on demand by our own people. That's how it got started. And then I lost my income and was like, maybe I can make something else from home with a little child in my house where I have to watch and stuff. And I thought, okay, I really like doing shirts. And I really love doing logos and funny sayings. Like, one of my favorites of the first ones I made was the Dart Blasters Welcome, Elite Darts Tolerated. Because if you don't have anything else, we don't throw you out. But that's about it. And
so you, how long does it take you to make a shirt doing that process? Just curious.
It depends. The design, of course, about 5 minutes to ace. Between, like, somebody is like the blacksmith design that I made here. It was just like, that's a cool design, and then I made it for like 3 minutes for the idea, 10 minutes for the rough idea, and then some maybe hours for finding the font that I'm allowed to use and making it work. And then
I meant like physically making the shirts, because it seems like you, by bringing it all in-house, you have a tremendous amount of control over not just the design, which you do yourself, but also the creative process and how you get to physically manufacture them. It's pretty awesome that you've got it all under one roof. You mentioned earlier that working it through a custom company would be a little bit of a hassle because of all the hands that it would have to pass through, but I imagine that doing it all yourself, you can greenlight things and have them done within the same day. That's probably pretty awesome.
Yeah. Like, the machine is cutting the vinyl. That's, depending on the design, between 5 minutes and 30 minutes. And then I need to peel the design, which is, depending on the design, very easy or very, very hard. Like, I made a very complicated picture for a gift for my wife, and I spent hours just picking little pieces out of the whole picture, and always checking that I'm not taking the picture out of the picture, only the surroundings, because you just have the plain field of stuff that is cut. And
if there was ever one to get absolutely correct, it's the one for the wife, right?
Yeah, the Christmas present for the wife. That was tough. No, and
time well spent.
So that depends. Like, these, I think, took 5 minutes to peel, and it's gone. And then
awesome.
You need to press them, and the pressing itself took 30 seconds. Of course, you need to preheat the press. Pressing more than one, that's not a problem. And it's getting quite easy.
So I guess, trying to be cognizant of our time here, my next question, and maybe my final question, is t-shirt designs look great. Obviously, you've got plenty of them lining your background there. What's next? Like, are you going to be doing vinyl for other, like, fabric products, or are you going to expand this into aesthetics and blasters? Like, it seems like with a vinyl plotter of that quality, you've really opened up the floodgates to do a lot of really cool stencil work.
Yeah, I'm right now thinking about how to get some nice vinyls for this one with my new cheatgrass that I just released today. Also, the work together with Skyline, like rainbow. And I'm also actually working on rainbows, gecko scar parrots that are made by Federvorst and it's like we're all collaborating right now a lot because we can't choose.
I recognize quality German machining whenever I see it. I figured that was done by a sausage near you.
Yeah. I'm actually also doing a sausage t-shirt today. But it's a saying in German, and it's just, we cannot translate it properly. Because in German we have to say, wenn es die Wurst geht. Translates to somebody if it's about the sausage. And the German meaning is like, if it's important, then you do something. So, but it does not translate well.
You know, I feel like I get the general gist of it, and I appreciate you struggling through that for my Hellenic American brain over here. I do if it's worth it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a good T-shirt design.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of cutting either for myself and for some people in the community, but that's actually something that is not making money unless you're taking like 50 plus euros for a design for one blaster. So it's just.
So I guess as a final question then, a final question for sure. You mentioned that part of this was you transitioned into your own workflow because you had to, but now that you have been doing it for a while and have a feel for it, like, do you find that you're happier this way?
I really enjoy doing it, but I would need to really expand my my sellings to really enjoy it, because right now I'm making too less money. But maybe in a year it's cool.
Gotcha. I find that taking less income to do something that I really truly believe in is never a bad decision. So I hope that it keeps working for you. I imagine with designs like that, it's going to keep moving forward, and hopefully it can become like a full-time thing that supports everything that you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do people buy a T-shirt?
Right now, I will put it in my link. It's the easiest way because it's spreadshop shirt shops or me, depending on where in the world you are and how fast you want to get it. So I will just make my link tree because I don't have a shop end right now.
Excellent. Well, we'll throw that in the chat, and anybody who's watching right now can find it. If we want to bounce back to Rainbow Al, I know that I see your social media banner behind you. We need to get the plug in, certainly, if we want an inline shotgun, if we need a Ricky of our own, or maybe a Fetverse barrel professionally installed by a gecko technician.
Yes, the gecko technician. All right, well, you can find me Instagram, that's Rainbow Mods and Props. It's the Facebook as well, Rainbow Mods and Props or Rainbow L. And the new web shop is rainbowmods.com. So I try to keep it shorter, especially because people have to type in the email and info@rainbowmodsandprods.com. This is way too long. So that's where you can find me. And yeah, speaking of which, tuned geckos with a lot of accessories and all the things. If you want one, I sent you one.
Oh my! I've definitely had my hiccups with the Gecko platform. I would love to try your specific flavor of it at some point in the future. Thank you kindly.
Yeah, you're welcome, man.
That would be a good comparison. The American versus German lizard showdown. Be quite good.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm gonna have to look at the schedule and figure out what's next. Again, apologies to the viewers. I like to think that normally I'm a little more put together than this. I do want to clarify, because it was in the chat earlier, I am not currently driving this automobile. I feel like that has to be clear, but like we are safe and secure for your live streaming pleasure over here.
And now, with a slightly more settled Drac, confirmed that he's not running from an undead horde, we rejoin him in his car rather than in a warm studio, where he will be joined by Cryan and Brian from BlasterTime and Worker Toys, respectively. Over to you, Drac.
Welcome, fellows. Can't wait to talk to you about all of the exciting products that you're bringing to your respective areas and interesting news. We've got brand new blasters to talk about. We've got new friendships and partnerships and availabilities to talk about. But before we talk about that, I absolutely want to thank everyone who has donated to the raffle already. We are well over £3,000, on our way to £4,000, and you still have plenty of time to get in on that raffle. Lots of incredible prizes for an amazing cause. Definitely check out the link in the chat down below if you want to contribute to the Foam Fest fundraiser right now. But with that, Cryan, what have you been up to? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while, and I'm in a totally different location compared to last year.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, actually, this year I moved to our own warehouse location, new location, more room for new products. So, just built a lot of new shelves in the background. So, yeah, onwards and upwards.
I think a lot of people underestimate just how much work goes into setting up infrastructure like what we're seeing in your background right now. I mean, this is a tremendous and terrific upgrade and a huge risk. So hopefully, despite the fact that we haven't been able to run as many events during the past year, you've noticed an uptick in people who've been playing in their pods, in their yards, with their families, etc. And that's reflected kind of what appears to be a major, major business upgrade for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Well, people are still playing Nerf in their homes, and maybe not at the events, but still playing at home, apparently. So
no, everybody still has siblings to blast. Like,
sure.
There will always be. Nerf never changes.
Sure.
And then over here we have Brian from NerfShack. What are the most exciting worker products that you currently are working with? And then is there anything upcoming that you'd like to talk about with us?
I think one of the more, I don't know whether I'd say exciting blaster, but interesting blaster is the new Cheetah with the integrated magwell. But I've found it to be basically the new Nightfinder. It's just as good, if not better, and it performs well, as we all know, with all the new technology we've got. It will perform a hell of a lot better than the Nightfinder ever did, even with the massive springs people used to put on the back of them. But the biggest news we've got is the new Worker Swift, which is from the pictures and from the images we've got, the art, we'd speculate it to be kind of the same sort of size as a Cedar, Nexus Pro, as potentially a Prophecy, but in a completely different package. So it's got what looks to have takedown pins. In fact, I've got a list of what it's actually got from Worker. If you just bear with me 2 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that we're doing this kind of on the fly here, a little bit of a live speculation, but I know that one of our moderators in the chat should be able to throw up an image of the Swift. It's been leaked on a few Facebook groups there, but it definitely looks promising in its category. I would love to hear your list of specs.
So what they've come up with, it's a quick release mechanism. So it's got the 2 pins again, so we can disassemble the blaster. So easy access to the spring. You've got the CNC precision machining, shotgun pump grip, the non-slip. So it's got a non-slip pad on the pump grip, so we could, it's not going to hurt. Top linear guide rails. So yeah, the thing they're going with most of all, and what they're saying is the best thing about it, is the way you take it apart. So you can take it apart to store it in your bag if you're going home. So instead of having a blaster that long to put in your rucksack, take it apart, put it in your bag. You've got 2 pieces.
Well, I know that.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, I know that that's really, really important, particularly in other parts of the world. In the States here, we're very spoiled with our highways and our automobile obsessions to the degree that the whole takedown ability, with the exception of a few city-based microcosm nerfing communities, is less valuable. But in pretty much everywhere else in the world, the ability to transport these things on public transit or in backpacks or at a university or what have you is essential, not only for, you know, getting your gear from one place to another, but also in the interest of kind of public perception and safety. It's a whole lot easier to walk around with a backpack than a golf bag, quote unquote. So that is definitely a fine feature, and it'll be interesting to see how they implement it, given that it's something that pretty much everyone else has dabbled in, and I feel like nobody else has really nailed it quite yet.
That's it. Well, also one of the most important things that people have been asking a lot, and it's the one thing that everybody wants to know, is the price point. How much is it going to cost? And I've been sent the cost from Worker, and it's going to be 699 RMB, which would equate to £77. Or as Trin earlier one said, it's about 137 euros earlier? Crin?
Yeah, I didn't do the calculation.
Sorry, I thought we had. Okay.
No,
so,
I'm sure.
Which £77 is actually, I think that's almost $90. And
That is very impressive. It definitely is in line with Worker's whole ethos, and that's going to come fully ready to go. That's like shelled and kit and everything. That's $90 said and done. That would be very impressive.
So it's set for the pre-release date is the 1st of June, I believe. Hang on. Oh, sorry. The pre-sale will be the 18th of June, and expected to be shipped on the July the 1st.
Do they have any FPS claims for their stock system?
No, not currently. There's nothing. They're not going to claim anything. But looking at the way it is and the type of blaster they're looking to compete with, I'm going to put a rough speculation that the blaster you get in the packet is going to be 200 FPS capable.
Wow, that is very, very exciting.
This is not a blaster you're going to be able to buy in a walk-in shop store, unfortunately. So they can get away with going for the higher FPS than, let's say, Adventure Force can with the Nexus Pro, or even the Cedar that's been seen on shelves. They can't get away with going the high FPSs in a box, whereas these guys can. So, and we all know from Worker, it is a quality product. It will ship on time, and there won't be any flaws in it when they get it. And if there are, we'll be able to mod them. So
that is true.
That's what
Worker tends to be very compatible. Yeah, the modder supply shop, certainly.
Absolutely.
So, Krine, we've talked about the Swift, we've talked about what it's going to cost, and hopefully what we think that it's going to perform at. What else do you have going on in that big warehouse of yours?
Well,
anything?
One of the new things that's actually added to the website yesterday and will be coming in July. I got Zing products, the Zing Hyperstrike bows and the Zags, which I think you also liked in your review video.
I have had a very long relationship with Zing, and I don't think that I've ever been disappointed by one of their products. They do very affordably exactly what they advertise, and they're the nature of them being human powered just makes them a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and then the Hyperstrike bows in the Dutch Nerf community, we have used their bows in gameplays, actually in HVG, which has been very fun.
Can be a little polarizing there, Krine. Some people don't like getting hit with Zing arrows.
I know, but for us it has been very fun. I'm excited to finally be able to sell products like that in Europe, because they're not available anywhere here, so...
Well, that's a big part of what you do, is bring things to the masses. I, for one, I do want to clarify, just for the sake of the live streaming audience, I love Zingbo battles. I've just been informed by my friend that it's not as fun being with me as it is being me in a Zingbo battle. So I'm glad that you guys have found a way to work it into your scenarios, and it sounds like a lot of fun, and it's exciting that you get to bring that product to people who have only otherwise seen it on YouTube or what have you. Because it is a truly remarkably accurate long-distance projectile. They are very, very cool. Traditional archery is just a lot of fun. I wish we still had Rainbow Allen here, because I know that he's a big, big proponent of that. That's just saying, Zingbo seems really fun. They just can't be safely used at wars. It's true. So we've got Zingbows, we've got new worker products. Any other kit?
If you...
We're not quite there yet. I don't know if we're at your big reveal, but
as for other products, I'm adding more and more products, like with all the new Nerf releases, new worker releases, more and more X-Shot products, the Zing products. I've been importing blasters that are not available in Europe, like some Walmart exclusives, some Target exclusives, and stuff like that. Yeah, which it's not nice that we have to import them because they get expensive, but at least we can use them, we get them.
So having something that's a little more expensive sometimes definitely beats not having access to it at all. And I think that's a really cool thing that you have the availability to do between the warehouse and the supplier relations you've been cultivating. It's interesting to me that you mention Hasbro in a positive light. I don't get to do that very often these days, certainly, but what's the most exciting Nerf blaster that you guys have imported over the last year? Like, in your opinion, since you work with them, actually, I'm curious, like, what have you enjoyed? What have you found that other people have liked? It's very easy to talk about the things that Hasbro's done badly over the last year. I think it would be a refreshing change of pace to hear about what they've done well.
I think those models are older for you guys already, but like for Walmart exclusive, for example, something like the Saturn, Rifle Saturn, or in general, rifle blasters are doing pretty well. I would say the Rifle Saturn, I think, or the Takedown. Takedown is something that just came available
that's a good
in
one.
Europe this year, but that's a nice blaster to play with.
It also crates up really nicely. Those, I think that honestly, those are two of the best blasters that Hasbro's released recently. The two dedicated rival blasters that weren't necessarily overhyped. The Takedown being the shotgun, and then I think it was called the Charger is the pseudo P90. I thought that those were both quite good, so I'm glad that you've been able to bring those to Europe. Now with 10 minutes left to go in the segment, I think that we're being joined by someone very special that you would like to debut some very exciting news for anyone listening that's been curious about blasters that may or may not have been available to them before. I'll let them take it away.
You're talking to me now?
I'll try to let them take it away.
I'm sorry, I didn't take the cue. Hey, this is Brian from Dart Zone. I'm coming here with Krine and Drac to give you guys some new announcements that are coming about some partnerships with bringing our blasters, which have been very difficult and exclusive.
I'll experience intermediate technical difficulties.
We still... Did I start over? Okay. I'm Brian here with Dart Zone. Very excited about being on the live stream today, and we're here to kind of talk to you about some partnerships that are coming. Krine and BlasterTime have been very good partners with us, and we're bringing our blasters to them, working with them to bring our most innovative blasters from the Nexus Pro and other blasters in the line. And I want to kind of just share with you guys, we're excited to get started and bring stuff to the market in the European market, because we have been been doing so much in the U.S. for so long, and people just keep. I've been tired of telling people it's coming, it's coming. So the time has come, and I want to thank you guys for the patience, because Dart Zone is trying to do it the right way, which is build from the ground up. So, Krine, do you want to share with them how people can find out about the product soon and about the prices and availability?
Sure. So actually, if you go to the website right now, the products are already there, but sold out, as in not available yet. There should be available end of June, but realistically more sometime in July, that will actually be arriving here in this warehouse. But if you go to the product pages right now, you can see the products, the pricing, and you can subscribe to the wait list, and then you will get an email when they're in stock. So really excited to finally be able to bring Dart Zone products to Europe for a more affordable price than the imported models.
Thinking about what's on the way here. I think we've got the Nexus Pro is coming under our Dart Zone Max lineup. We're going to have our Dart Zone Magnum X2 along with our Dart Zone Spectrum. We have more to come. I don't think I'm really running down the entire list there. But we should we'll be sharing some information with everybody on our at dartzoneblasters.com this week with those links. So if you go to BlasterTime, or you can kind of check back with us, we'll keep everybody informed and be able to spread the love, so to speak. Because the Dart, we've been growing our brand the traditional way with good product, good quality. We want to make sure that our items are available and at good prices, because that's how we have won such a loyal following. So I want to thank you for kind of pioneering and kind of being the flagship for our launch in Europe this year. So I think it's going to be a really good partnership. Anything else that I guess my question to you would be? And for anybody on this live stream, is if you're looking for something that you can't find, reach out and tell us exactly what you're looking for from new blasters, because we will we'll get to work. We know that there will come a day where every single launch in the U.S. and North America is timed to be at the same time as its availability in other countries. But we're doing this slow and steady. See that we're going to be working to, I know that some people have asked about the Tomahawk 60, which we just released information on this week, and about the opportunity that to be available on your website. And I think that we'll be able to report back to them soon with those details. But as we move forward, I think it's just let's get to work. Let's buy some blasters. Let's load them up. Let's play, and we'll go from there. So,
Brian, I know that we have a whole hour.
I'll give it back to you. If you have any other questions for us, reach us at Dart Zone Blasters on Instagram and Facebook, or you can reach us at dartzoneblasters.com, and we'll stay in touch and figure out what's next. So,
all right. Well, that is obviously very, very
co-host there,
exciting.
Drac.
Am I here? I think I'm here. I hope I'm here. Hello?
Technical difficulties from.
All right, excellent. That's obviously very, very exciting news. I know that every time
I was going to tell you that
every time we've had a live stream,
we're going to be making some announcements here in a little bit about
Dart every time that we've had a live stream about Dart Zone products in the past, be it on their Facebook platform or any other platform like it, we've always gotten the question of like UK win, China win, Singapore win, etc. But this really kind of answers some of that and clears up some of those distribution questions. And I for one am thrilled that you guys are going to be the guys to make that happen, because it's, just another really good community attachment. These guys have come to events in the US. They've done a lot of distribution in, Canada and the US, and it's really exciting that they're working with more community people to bring what is very clearly community focused designs to an entirely new market. So that's crazy exciting, and I know you guys are equipped and ready for the task. The warehouse makes more sense now. Crying, very very good. What are you guys' specific plans for that rollout? Do you guys have any dates, any price points that you could share with the audience right now?
For the Dart products, prices and dates?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna list every price, because that
hit the most exciting ones. Like, tell me, Nexus Pro and Mark II. When do you think that those are going to be able to happen?
Nexus Pro is on the website. Should be arriving in July. Price is €65, which is if you account for the VAT tax we have in the Netherlands. That's almost very similar to what it is in the US. Dart Show Pro Mark II, not yet on the schedule, but still talking with Brian to see what we can do and how we move forward from this initial range of products.
Absolutely. What are you guys most excited about in regards to bringing these products to your local wars, to your local communities? Is it the blasters themselves? Is it the darts? Like, what's the most exciting facet of this? It seems like a really big step for a United States company to be moving outside of North America. It seems like a really big step for you guys to be doing some sort of direct retailing outside of just normal supply chain.
Yeah, well, as was told, you talked about with I think it was with the section with Foam Blast, just the fact that people can buy something, take it out of the box, turn up at a bar, and be competitive. I think it's exciting that we are getting more and more options, basically, so everybody can choose what you want. Just having more options available is always a bonus.
Excellent. So we've talked about some of the new worker products. We've talked about how Dart Zone is going to be coming to Europe. Is there anything else? How long is our segment? Is it another? Do we need to be wrapping it up now, or do we have more time? Off. I guess as long as we're live, what was your favorite Nerf memory from the pandemic times? Each of you, back and forth. It can be either just something really cool that happened in 2020, or it can be something that specifically maybe the pandemic made possible. There are definitely a few things in my career that the pandemic made possible that were small silver linings. Do you guys have memories like that? It would be fun to share.
Well, mine is getting to grips more with my 3D printing. So I've had more time at home with the kids. My daughter's been learning 3D printing as well. They're 9 and 6, so start them young. They'll be fine. they'll teaching me soon. So
I think when I was a wee vamplet, the idea of a thing that machined extruded hot plastic with precision is just so incredibly foreign. The fact that someone that age can grasp it and utilize it in any sort of academic or hobbyist manner is just, it's a brave new world. Good for you. That's pretty awesome parenting.
Well, my 9-year-old already thinks the Prusa Mini's hers.
It might be. It might be.
Yeah.
What was your coolest COVID memory? Focus on the good. Don't tell me it was moving into the warehouse either, because that was happening either way, bud. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I don't know. Overall, not really much positive nerf-related things. I'm still missing the wars, so that's not very positive, I guess. But I don't know.
Well, soon. Hope is a good thing too. So we'll focus on that, and I'm sure that we'll be seeing each other really soon. Events are going to have to come back eventually. Nothing bad lasts forever, right, guys?
We can hope.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so I think that with that, I'm going to let you both go. Thank you so much for joining me. Huge thanks to everyone in the chat who's been donating to the raffle. I think that's plugging and chugging along. And I will be joining you after this ad break with some just really terrific news in regards to events and perhaps the world resuming in some small capacity.
This is Games of Foam. Let's go!
Welcome back to Foam Fest Live after what seems like an eternity. In true form for a many centuries-year-old vampire, Drac shows a complete inability with technology. We have now re-established contact with his mobile studio, and he is fully aware of the roasting that I'm giving him for his inability to operate aforementioned technology. So we now join him in the passenger seat of his car as he attempts to save at least some kind of face from the mess. Over to you, Drac.
That is well deserved. Technology's hard, guys. It's changed a lot over the centuries. So I did switch. I switched computer machines because this is important. It was worth not dying 20 minutes into it. Unlike End War 2021 or the first End War, I would like to last longer than half an hour. So We are joined once again by Brian from Dart Zone. We've got to stop meeting like this. It seems like it's always in these fun and exciting live stream announcements. But thank you so much for joining us. Incredible news for the European market. How long have you been brewing that surprise?
Well, at least 12 months. Brian and I have been talking, about the demand and the interest in our products, and we just our bench and our product category got so big that it just became insurmountable to not find a way to deliver product this year. So lot of what we got lined up is kind of going to be the core items that are most requested from our U.S. North American categories, and that's stuff that's either at an Adventure Force branded blaster that may be available in the U.S. or an item that's been launched under Dart Zone for some time. So we are we have a partner, and BlasterTime is going to be kind of our flagship store for Dart Zone in 2021 and so we're excited.
I think
to see what happens.
It's incredibly exciting news. I think that it's great for that entire segment of the hobby, and I think that it's really great for all of us because it proves that if you whine about something long and hard enough in every live stream that I've ever been a part of, that eventually it'll come true. So for everybody in chat right now, talking about everything from Mark III leaks to anything else like that, I mean, we can, if we just keep it up, eventually they have to relent and deliver blasters to other continents and stuff. So that is excellent news, and in particular, it's really good because it means that there will be greater exposure to more Nerf teams for your products, and that they will be more familiar with them in the event that perhaps that will be valuable in the coming seasons, so to speak.
Most definitely. I think the questions that came that I just saw from the chat so far, darts are included in this launch. So we're going to be bringing our waffle tip darts and our pro darts to the store. So we're going to, and those have become universally recognized. The Dart Zone is the #1 dart manufacturer in the game. Is kind of what we take credit, and we are proud to say, from pro darts to Venture Force waffle tips to Dart Zone darts. We're universal, we're affordable, and we have going to be able to bring that same price point and performance to the European market this year. So we just sit back and let people respond, and we'll refill those shelves as fast as we can. So, but I think, time right now, the time is right for us to do more and figure out how to get more involved with the community. So let's stay focused, keep it rolling. So.
Well, I definitely don't want to sound like a broken record, but I know that I've talked about before just how
Drac's in his mobile studio, which I thought was the funniest way to say that. I will be our co-host here. I think that we were if you haven't heard about us, our new blog that we launched this week, Dart Zone is going to be now kind of trying to democratize how we deliver information to our audience. We know that there's demands from many people to get chances to review blasters earlier. We are rushing to make everything available to the market as fast as possible, even having stuff in store available much sooner than normal. So everyone, if you're from the U.S. market here, you kind of know the typical product launch cycle. We basically, new items, new store sets are around 1st of August. I will sit there and say that everybody should be expecting to see product available online from Walmart and Target as early July for the new blaster. So that's why the blog is most important for us, is to be able to give everybody those chances to ask the questions, find out how to get first in line, so that when the product drops, you can go get it as soon as you want. We know that we've had some successful launches with the Dart Zone Pro Series at Target, where there were some out of stock issues. We are trying to build the infrastructure so that those things do not become a common experience. We want everybody to have access to get the blasters as soon as they're available on shelf or in stores, and we're going to be announcing those availabilities directly on our one website. So If you haven't already, we recommend you to come visit us at dartzoneblasters.com, sign up to subscribe to the blog, become a Dart Zone fan and supporter, and you'll get all the news and information from us as soon as we can. And then we still have great friendships and partners like Drac and Wacom S7, Coop, Phone from Above, that will be getting the blasters once they're available for us to give you guys some more in-depth reviews along the way. So it's a continual process of just delivering high-quality blasters, high-quality product, and the rest will work itself out. So, and I've been with Dart Zone for about 10 years, enjoying this entire ride of us building up this portfolio and this brand. So apologize if I'm talking like a insider or a salesperson at times. Hey, it's been a hustle. It's been a grind for us to stay focused on this and go step by step.
Well, if I can step in,
I am stretching here because we've lost Drac, and I hope to get him back here in a second. Like we got some really cool news here to show. So. Well, he is. I don't see the screen, so I'm just stretching. I'm riffing. I thought I was going on.
I appreciate it.
No, for a while. I'm so I'll throw it back to Drac if he's here. Let's roll.
Yeah, let me talk for just a second here. I was going to say that I actually really enjoy the blog. I think that it's a very novel way to use that space. I think that it's exciting, and I can kind of reflect what chat has been saying while you've been riffing without me. The Tomahawk loadout, the whole rollout, the way that you did that was very well executed. It was very democratic. Everybody kind of experienced it at the same time, self-included, which I thought was really, really cool. We were all kind of speculating and rumor milling off of something official for once, which, in recent years has not happened very often. So that's been exciting. I'm sure that we can throw a link to the blog down here in chat for those that might need to follow it or understand more about what we're talking about. And then I also did want to point out earlier when we were talking about it, just to rewind, it's really, really incredible that the darts are such a major part of the rollout that you're doing in Europe and the UK right now, because I think that while nobody will deny that the blasters you've been producing are awesome for our space and the things that we want to do, the darts fit so seamlessly into what we're already doing and really kind of democratize performance across the board, where anybody can buy very affordable darts that are very consistent batch to batch, that are very durable, etc. That's an incredible part of the loadout, and I think that it's really, really important, because even if you're not looking to pick up new blasters and you are very happy with what you've got, you still need good ammo, and that's something that you guys have really made affordable for all. I'm certainly thrilled by that, because I use a lot of them. Somebody also mentioned that maybe at some point we should make glow-in-the-dark ones. And I think that if that's not on your radar, glow-in-the-dark everything would be cool. I just love glow-in-the-dark stuff. Definitely excited by what you guys are doing with the blog. I'm trying to make sure, Brian, can you hear me right now, or is that part of why you thought I disappeared? Oh, it's true. We only communicate through BOF now. I don't think that he can hear me, even though I could hear him. So now I'll riff. I'll riff for a second here, and I'll say that we do have a big reveal coming. We're very excited about it, but I definitely want to be able to communicate with Brian in real time for that.
Hey, I hear you, through the live stream, so.
Excellent. It wouldn't be a live stream if there weren't technical difficulties, so I'm thrilled that we get to all go on this journey together. We've talked about the blog. I would love to talk about some more of the blasters and give you an opportunity to talk about some of the new stuff you have coming out. If you want to tell us any of your favorite features of the Tomahawk. If you want to talk about the Conquest Pro, I'm actually, personally, I know that you have a few things coming out, but I'm most excited about the Conquest Pro. I want to know if there's anything we can learn about this fascinating magazine loading system that you guys have developed, and what we can expect in terms of performance and reliability from a pump action Springer that's, you know, less expensive than an Nexus, but certainly has more features than an Aeon. Now I'll stop talking. A retreat on the internet. Whilst not talking, sing for us. Oh man. I was at an event in Edinburgh like 2 years ago where an entirely Scottish band tried to do Take Me Home Country Roads, and I might have interrupted them. So we're not going to reenact that on FoamFest Live. I think that would be embarrassing for all. Oops, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Nope, now we're not. Now he's thrown me back into the fray here to embarrass myself further. Now I've got Take Me Home Country Roads stuck in my head. This is a dangerous moment for me, Internet. It could go either way, really. We brought in Just a Jolt to rescue me. Oh my goodness.
Okay, 1 second. Are you there? Can you see me?
Oh no, please no.
Almost heaven. West Virginia. British Mountains. California River. Life is older than mountains. Come on, Drac. I'm in like a breeze.
I'm back.
Take me home to the place I belong. Yeah. Brian, please. Brian, tell me you can hear me right now.
Have fun, guys.
Alright. I do have to thank Just a Jolt for his fantastic rendition there. That would not have been possible without his egging on. That was maybe the most embarrassing moment of my internet career. Thank you, sir. Alright, excellent. Not nearly enough whiskey for Take Me Home Country Roads in the old Subaru over here. So, Brian, we are live once again. Technical difficulties have been fixed, and I think
really live.
I hope so, and I think that we can hear one another. So, with no more further ado, actually, I'm going to drag it out just a little bit. I know that we have the time, so I wanted to ask if we can get any information on the Conquest Pro. I know that it's something that I'm very excited about. If you have any more sneak peeks about the new drum blaster, it looks very exciting as well. If you have I know that it's 60 dart capacity. I've seen some of the renders, but the Conquest Pro in particular, I want to know how we wind up with something that costs less money than the Nexus Pro, but has what appears to be a far more novel loading mechanism.
Well, it comes down to size a little bit. It does not include the stock mount, and there's it's only half-length dedicated magazine. Have comes with one magazine versus two magazines, and the dart capacity is a little bit different. But we've changed the expectations of the consumer of what they're going to get. So we want to do no harm to make sure that the Nexus Pro becomes the industry standard for pro blasters, and we have the problem is, like, again, our designers are just like modders. We're tinkering and we're coming up with new ideas, and we're like, well, what can we do with this? And we needed something that is fresh, new, and novel, and can be compatible with the rest of the lineup. So it's not much different than just pressing the limitations of what you can do with dart blasting and making sure that you still are within a certain set of parameters that we think people come to expect from a dart zone blaster. So.
Well, chat definitely agrees with you. They say that they like seeing something new, something novel brought to market like this. I actually just want to kind of pair it, and it feels like, because of the pandemic, it feels like a lifetime ago that we had our Walmart chat, where you mentioned that part of the Nexus and Aeon product development cycle was very much testing the waters for these novel new half darts, this crazy new idea that you guys had, and that's part of the adapter and why the breech system works that way. And it seems like this, in particular, in the Conquest Pro, is a full commitment to the half dart platform. Can you speak any as to, like, is that an answer in and of itself? Is that a revelation that this is a direction that you guys find merit in and feel like is worth pursuing? I mean, it's definitely
I think that
more than a toe in the water. Yeah.
No, yeah, we're more like waist deep and having fun, splashing around. I think that the cycle of I guess pro blasters. Let's call that for a second. Let's take a step back. The Dart Zone Pro Mach 1 MK1 was the really true toe in the water to see how much with a half-length blaster delivering over 120 FPS out of the box would, basically what consumers would pay for. And then, as much as we have such great partners with Walmart and Target, we built versions that fit that on the shelf price point. So a $50 Nexus Pro is top of the line, but that doesn't mean that going forward that we don't see us being able to go lower or go higher on retail. It's just basically it's all about the life cycle of our innovation. So the half-link program is here to stay. I think that we see that that's where the growth in the, I call it the kid adult environment. I mean, this is a true. The pandemic basically accelerated that in my mind. Is that we all have hobbies, we all have passions, we all want to do stuff, keep ourselves entertained, and we had more time at home than anybody would ever have liked. So, our blasters, was a great debut, and I think with that support, it gives our partners, our retail partners, the confidence to do more. So I think that's what I want to say to you guys. You guys have made this happen because, testing the limits of product development, dart technology, FPS, performance, all those things. That's the engineering and science part. But you got to get the buy-in from the community. So you guys have actually done the work to make sure that there's an audience and a demographic for you guys, and we're going to fill that.
And, that is incredibly empowering, kind of to hear from a content creator and an event host sort of standpoint. I mean, I know that a lot of us have speculated that was sort of how this whole thing had to happen, but to hear it from the horse's mouth is very good. It definitely makes us feel like we've been along with you on this journey, as opposed to to being sold necessarily. And I can only speak for myself, but it definitely is very satisfying that it's like, okay, like, and steady as she goes. Like, very.
Yeah, I mean,
very cool.
it is steady as you go, but I think it also means that with the success of what we're doing now in product and the amount of product out there available to purchase, and our expanding, goals of trying to become, a standard for our blasters. From I've got young kids. We're going, like I spoke this before, so it's all about changing their mentality of what to expect from dart blasters. So if it was something we all grew up saying, Nerf as the standard, we want our name to be in that category going forward for the next 20 years. So it's
excellent
growth commitment, and
all I can say is that we are seeing that happen across the board. Certainly in our space, a lot of people are definitely embracing that there is more than manufacture. I've been watching it happen in the water gun space, where it's no longer just super soakers. That's been very exciting as well, and it seems like in the case of the blasters that you've been producing, and also the more impressive water blasters, that performance is definitely a major driving metric, and that's something that you guys have fully embraced. I do need to pause here at halftime. Shout out to the chat just in general for being incredibly wonderful despite all of my technical difficulties. I love a lot of these jokes, and I do want to mention that we're closing in on how close we are explicitly, but we are working towards that 4K donation goal, and I will begrudgingly agree. I will do a full karaoke rendition of Country Roads with Just a Jolt if you get us to that level. Like, I can agree to that. I'll settle in. I'll have a proper whiskey. We'll give it to you, as though you were in the pub with us. It'll be absolutely wonderful. But you've got to donate. It's a great cause all the way up to that 4K threshold. I think that, he's going to be purple and hairless by the time we get to that threshold, if all of his promises come true, but I will sing a song. I think that I can commit that much. And as long as we're on that sort of wavelength, I've got to ask, because chat's brought it up 3 separate times, what's the deal with the Wario hat?
It's my son's hat. Also, it also makes a lot of sense that if Mothership claims to be the leader of the industry, we're the evil twin, and we'll take those reins. And
fantastic. Somebody's gonna have to call Elon Musk and let him know that you're moving in on his turf.
I know his timing too. I don't know. It's appropriate for a 10-year-old skit last week, but that was a very classic skit on Saturday Night Live. It
was interesting. It was interesting that the timing works out. Excellent.
Yes.
But as we kind of move into halftime, and I
also want to follow up from your post. You grew the beer for.
I had no idea you followed my Instagram. I was doing some Luigi antics pretty recently. Yes, sir. Oh. Chat, if you're interested, that's at Lord Drac on Instagram. There's a real mustache and everything. Since we haven't embarrassed ourselves enough this live stream.
Hey, we got 30 minutes left. What are you talking about? So.
Excellent. So in the interest of, and I do really, this is so very, very important to me. And I think to the hobby and where we're going on this adventure together, I want to give it as much time as we possibly can. I would like to introduce with you in this time and Foam Fest Live the Dart Zone Pro Tour collaboration. And I think that the time has come to talk about that. And while End War is formally being postponed into 2022 because of, a lot of reasons, most of them pandemic related, but also partnership complications have arisen that were insurmountable. And I think that it would be wrong to do Diet End War. We would rather do Original Flavor full force next year. I think that we should definitely talk about how Dart Zone is going to be partnering with the Foam Pro Tour to introduce a cash prize tournament circuit with qualifying mini tournaments, the first of which will happen this year, and then future qualifiers in 2022 as we kind of lead up to a top 8 invitational with over $10,000 in cash prizes, blasters, and swag, while sort of elevating us from, hobby sport into something where, like, performance-based blasters can really live, thrive, and we can start creating athletes from hobbyists. Cat's also asking how End War 2022 can happen. End War 2022 is a guarantee. End War 2021 was a struggle that is ultimately imagined impossible.
Well, let me give everybody some context to what we're thinking about from our sponsorship of this. I think that the Grand National will be called the Dark Zone National. So it'll be in the summer of 2022, and it'll be scheduled during End War. And we're just thinking about like how what kind of venue, activity, way to give back. Way to get together and encourage people to, run a 5-on-5 game, and with their friends. And this is one we know that we've had so much, we've had to sacrifice so much in the last year. So let's put a schedule together and let everybody know about it, and then we'll kind of get out there and see who wants to take claim to be the best. The best.
We've got a lot of questions rolling in here. It's definitely it is big news. I want to address some of those questions right now. There will be 4 qualifying tournaments, which are completely open category, any blaster, any loadout, whatever you want to use, as long as it meets the FPS caps and the rules. Those will be run in various parts of North America. Unfortunately, the time is not quite yet that the hosting capabilities can take this international, but I'm sure that it'll happen in the future. But there will be 4 qualifiers in different large pockets of Nerf. The schedule will be posted shortly. But there will be qualifiers for different tournaments. At each qualifier, first place gets a $1,000 travel voucher and entry into the top 8 finals, and then second place gets that entry into the top 8 finals, and then we will seed those and run that at the big show in 2022. But I want to clarify that while you'll be able to use any blaster at all during the qualifiers, the top 8 will be a showcase of specifically pro-level blasters from Dart Zone. So you have to be good at what you do already, and then also kind of adaptable to different formats and game types as we kind of move through the tournament. He's asked specifically, how long do we have to train before the first qualifier? And I can tell you enough time. Especially given, and I'll call her out here, I'll shout her out, especially given that Addie is a 3-time champion of the greatest tournament in the land. I think that she'll have plenty of time to get up to speed, maybe shed some of that COVID shackles and get out there and be ready to go. So I'm very excited for the qualifier closest to Reno, I guess. It would be the one for you. But I did want to mention that in addition to over $10,000 in prizes in that top 8, there will be a lot of other activities at End War for anyone to participate in. The event will be live streamed. We'll have much coverage as we possibly can, and blasters and swag to give away. Like, it should be a really, really cool celebration of the hobby and where blaster sports is right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna see how I'm tempted to get a Dart Zone team together and run one and see how far we go. So, but
that'd be pretty exciting. I would love to see a Dart Zone team of 5. It'll be interesting. I think that your regional, competition's gonna be steep in your region if the team comes together where I think it's gonna be.
I think it's like I will not be able to ourselves. We will.
I see. You'll exhibition. That's very honorable of you not to.
Correct. Yes. Well, I think it's gonna be fun. I mean, I think that I've been to NWAR twice. I've met many of you face to face there. It's such a, I would say, just a fresh, fun environment where, you know, you don't get together many people. Everyone just is totally stoked about blasters. So, that's going to be it's a really cool lead up. I hope we're going to build out a really cool venue that gives you that elite level performance, so that you know that you made it, and we'll make sure that give you that kind of athletic environment. And we hope everybody comes around and just kind of like cheers along and kind of like, you know, makes it as raucous as environment as possible. So I think that's going to be.
So I would feel bad if I didn't pull this one out of chat, because it's the new when are we getting UK distribution? I've got to at least get a live reaction from you while we have you on the line. But people are asking electronic pro blasters ?
Well, electronic pro blasters are on our to-do list, and I will we will have something in the pipeline for those pro tournaments. So that's coming soon. On the MK2, that will be available also this fall in the EU and UK. So we have made that plans in place. We cleared that threshold, so that's coming just the same way wherever you're able to buy the Nexus Pro on BlasterTime. We'll make those available at some better retails, because they'll be working with us direct this year. So we'll time the launches too of all the future versions of Dart Zone Pro, so that they're available in the UK from the get-go as well. So
excellent. It looks like in chat
shorten
people
that
are
lag.
already. Do want to point out, while we can't run qualifiers internationally, there's nothing to stop your international team from competing domestically. So I know for a fact that there are some incredible teams in the UK and Singapore and China, and it would be very exciting to have any of you.
Yeah, and I'll give a shout out. Dart Zone Singapore just is launching this week, so our products are going to be in Singapore, available on shelf, with a very strong distribution there from the ground, from the get-go. So, yeah, I think it is. It's an open invitational. It's right. So it's come with your best squad. Do prove your merits on the field, and then you get a chance to do something bigger, and we'll have it all teed up for 2022. So I'm excited about it. So. Something that we've been thinking about for quite a while. Probably our first thoughts about running this Pro Tour tournament was late last year, when we realized that what is everybody going to want to do once we get through and we're all vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. I say encourage everybody to go get vaccinated and keep your crew ready.
I'm actually really glad that you broached that topic. I'll go ahead and follow your lead. I'm also fully vaccinated. I think that that's going to be essential for running and coordinating events like this. And you should definitely, if you intend to compete for this cash prize and tournament, you should help us all get back to existing as human beings on planet Earth, and consider getting vaccinated yourself if you aren't already.
Yeah, we know that I've got friends and family that are live in Europe. We know that's not readily available yet, so that's one reason we also stress this into a year-long campaign, so that if somebody wants to get together and have a vacation over here and play in a tournament, they can do it. We want to give them that obviously limitation right now, which would be present if we were running this tournament this year. So.
It definitely opens up a lot of opportunities for people to prepare and train and plan and get their 4 teammates together and really make a real go of it, as opposed to the window. And I can speak about this just completely independent of this project. The window for NWAR 2021 was very narrow by the time we had any sort of opportunity to execute. I just feel like the privilege that NWAR has in the hobby to deliver the experience that it does to the community can't be rushed in an 8-week period. It simply can't be done. I know that the organizers of Ragnarok Oktoberfest made a similar, very difficult decision earlier this year, and I think that my only regret as End Wars principal organizer is that I couldn't make this call sooner. But the pieces finally fell into place that this was definitely the time to announce it, and I think it's the correct decision, and time will tell.
Yeah, you gotta do. You know, we just nobody knew what. When we were going to be able to make these plans, and you got to have, they say, you know, enough assurance that the people can do it safely, and I think that the time horizon is there now, and we'll.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We'll make it an annual event too. That's one of the things we're thinking about. This will be an annual opportunity for people to get together and play and test their skills, and you know, don't make it.
We would absolutely
be another one too.
Yeah, we would absolutely consider international qualifiers if everything goes, you know, well and is very successful. I think that it's definitely in the cards. We're happy to take any more questions. I mean, I would be happy to grill Brian as long as we have him for another 10 minutes about any of the intricacies of new products. I know that people are curious about you know, rule sets and game types and formats and etc. And again, all of that will be published properly in due time. Everyone's going to get that information at the same time. I want it to be as democratic and fair as it possibly can be. So the information that we presented right now is factual and correct, but the specifics will be delivered in time along with a qualifier schedule and location kind of map.
Well, what's the questions?
One good one is, how is Conquest availability going to happen outside of the U.S.? And I don't want to speak for you, but you said a few minutes ago that there would be availability is going to try and be as uniform as it possibly can be. That things will show up in Canada and with Crine and what have you at around the same time. Is that correct?
It's a work in progress. I could say that some of the progress on this year's blasters will still have a little bit of a lag, such as the Conquest Pro and the Tomahawk 60. But we'll work with our partners to shorten that. So I would say that the 2022 is when you're going to see, say, a more scheduled release. But anything that's coming from us from a Dart Zone Pro perspective, that'll be eliminated in our next launch. So we're talking about coming with our next version, our MK3. So I can officially say there's an MK3 coming. People have asked us that before online. I will say that it is in the works, and we'll be sharing information about that soon. So it's not that too much.
No
MK2. If there's MK2, there's MK3. You know.
It does make sense. That is how numbers work. I will accept that as the only. There are a couple of other really good ones here. We've got like 3 or 4 different people offering to be announcers for the tournament.
Right.
I think that we'll do some tryouts at maybe the qualifiers, and we'll see whoever's got the best hype voice.
That'd be awesome. Yes.
We'll definitely put that together. Michelle asks, will modifications be allowed in the top 8, or will it just be stock blasters? And I think that that's something that will be determined over the course of rolling the rule set out. We have an explicit answer for that just yet. And then she also says, please let me help with the design for the DZP flywheeler. So I'll let you tackle that one. I'm assuming you know how to find Michelle. She's Addie's lovely wife and the other half of the Foam Blast compilation.
Well, I will say the MK3 design is finalized, so we'll have to table that offer. But I'll keep. I will.
Did anybody else just catch that? Because I just interesting.
It's done. I mean, it's it is.
Yep, It wasn't.
I'm not
just
saying
me.
it anymore. It's just, you know what? Sharing is caring.
Live content is really cool, internet. That's pretty exciting. That is very exciting. I will, in the interest of maintaining a professional working relationship, I won't grill you beyond that, but that is exciting. Do we believe that a hypothetical Mark III would be available in time for the top 8 of this tournament next year?
Guaranteed. I can tell you that.
Guaranteed. All right, that's quite a lot of spoilers. Lots of exciting stuff to talk about. We have 8 minutes left to take more questions. Let's see if we can get any more snafus, guys. There were a couple of other ones that I thought were really good. Cybrin, there will be more clarifications in the future. This is meant to just be an announcement, kind of drum up some excitement, let you know that this is something that's going to come, that it's real, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the whole thing. This is the first time that we can say this is a real thing. It's going to happen. There's no delays with locations. We know we're able to take over the reins of this project and execute it. That's how I think we've also built the brands. The Tomahawk 6, the Tomahawk 60 is a great example. I give a shout out to Blaster Hubs. His research skills are becoming very, very well known, and that item, that blaster, were in our pipelines in 2020, February 2020, but we just didn't necessarily have the partner, and the item was not at its point to be
well known. I'm sure Hoffer is quite flattered that his ability to
he keeps us on his toes. I mean, I will sit there and say from a company perspective is that we go, okay, well, we know that this is possibly going to be leaked. How do we make sure that we're not doing really top secret stuff?
Hoffer keeps everybody honest, truly, across the board.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the passion. We appreciate the commitment.
This is a great question. I got to get this one in here while we've still got time. Have you guys considered a revolver or a lever action blaster at any point? And then I'll
always
follow up. Just as a personal aside, I think that the revolver space definitely needs more exploration, and in a world where you're embracing half-lengths as a performance adaptation, I think that there's a lot of advantages and merits to be had there.
Yeah, I think that's on our short list for sure. I mean, I think that we see, we got to have. It's all about having the strongest bench in the game. Is so much is that we want to make sure that we are plugging in the right items at the right time. Make sure there's the right cadence of launches. Things seem natural. The word I've shared before. We want to make sure that we're authentic. People can understand why we're launching something at this time. It's not just another random launch out of our shop. So everything has to kind of think of like a long tail growth of the brand. And I will come back to reiterate this before. We want to be the number one dart brand in the game. We're very well on our way, and we want to make sure that people, if you're going to be buying our darts, you want to buy the best darts for the best players. That's the next threshold for our ecosystem.
An interesting conspiracy theory for you, Brian, that you can weigh in on or not.
Okay.
Chat wants to know if the Adventure Force Pro Darts being black and orange is a nod to Nerf Ultra. It's been a theory for a while, apparently.
No, I can't. That is, I will shoot that one down. I think that if you know anything about our timing, it was just we want to know what's cool. So I'll give that to our partners at Walmart. They wanted a cool looking dart. So I don't know if that was in their mind at the time, but that's what we ended up. So a lot of think about this from the big picture. Is that we control everything that we show our partners. It has to be, in many ways, it is a partnership where we're getting things selected in a certain life cycle. So there are certain things that we do ourselves that we'll bring to you faster than the market. Other things that relate to our Walmart and Target, they take a little bit longer. So we'll.
I think
know
that
people.
along that line, this one's fantastic, and I'm trying to make the most of this time because this is the exciting part where we talk about conspiracy theories. But this one's really good. Somebody wants to know, and if you could collect it, I guess, kind of surmise it here. How did the decision to make the Nexus and the Aeon Pro adapter Talon compatible come about? And then was that, I guess I'll tack something onto that because I think that that's a little broad, but it's certainly very exciting for us as a hobby space. And then the big question that I would have is, like, how did retailers feel about that? Was Walmart supportive of you making that decision?
Well, I think that we are the thought leaders in that space, so we want to bring them solutions that are the most compatible. So, from a product support, is that if we build something that has the largest level of compatibility that we can define, that's only to the benefit of our partners. So it would be, I don't know, it wouldn't necessarily be in our DNA to build something to share with Walmart or Target or Amazon, whoever we're working with, and say it's going to be compatible, but it's only compatible with 2 or 3. So we know that there's always new product coming into the market. We are trying to stay fully aware of everything that's out there, so we can make sure that we design new stuff to be as fully as compatible based on available knowledge. So we understand there's something maybe out there in six months that we're not going to be compatible with.
This final one
we'll
is
keep
actually
that in our pipeline and make updates later on in the future. So
this one's pretty good. I guess before we move away from that one, I do just want to say thank you as someone who uses both of those products extensively. Talon compatibility is really cool. It was something that was very important to me. I think I covered that in my reviews, but as a guy who has like 30 Talons, it was really quite nice. Made it easy to integrate. And then this question I think is really, really good. It's very strong, which is that there haven't been a lot of ballistic ops launches in the past year. Is that something that you guys are moving away from, or is that something that we can expect new things in the future?
No, there's a new one coming out this year at Walmart. It's called the Monolith. There was some early reveals on it last week, so I think we'll be making some more announcements on that item. Yeah, so I think that's a good example of a good product life cycle. Is that we want to make sure that after we debuted the Quantum at Walmart, and we went through a couple years where just had manual blasters, a motorized hopper made sense, and then we're also bringing it out at a unbeatable price. You're talking about a primary for $30. Holds 4. So
I think that that's something that you guys have proved you are capable of doing very, very well over the last year and change here. Is performance at a very affordable price is very disruptive, very cool. And I tried to, because I did do a leak video about the Conquest Pro. And I constantly have to remind myself that even in a world where the Nexus Pro exists, a $40 primary Springer class blaster that takes magazines is just an awesome deal.
I mean, if you look at what's selling in the market, $30 to $50 price point is our across the board of the top selling blasters, whether or not it's from us or from Nerf or elsewhere. So but I don't think anybody's doing what we're doing. We're providing stuff that is kind of like fits the largest audience. So people who want the performance, or people who are just looking for cool blasters that use standard length darts. We're not in the licensing game, so to speak, at this time. So we know that our blasters have to stand on their own merits, and make sure that they, when you pick up a Dart Zone blaster, you also are picking up one of the best blasters in the market. So.
I can certainly appreciate and empathize with good design being its own reward. It's wonderful when it marries with a good licensing relationship, but it's not always the case. Oftentimes it becomes a crutch. So in the interest of time, yours, which we all sincerely appreciate, and I would really love to not be on the side of a highway for too terribly much longer here. That is our time. I want to thank chat for all of the great questions. I want to remind chat that if they can get us to our donation goal, I will do karaoke with Just a Jolt. I would be happy, honored to do that. I think it's an incredible cause, and we should try and bump it up to there. I want to open it up to you. I want to give you your chance. What's the best way for people who appreciate design on its own merits to interact with the Dart Zone brand?
Well, I think, as I said, we've launched our blog this week. Go visit us at dartzoneblasters.com. Subscribe to our blog. You'll get the news first. You'll get advance notice of items when they come on sale. We have some. I mean, I will tell you. I'll give you the number. We have over 10 plus blasters coming to the market this year. So if you haven't seen what we've got, you've only seen a sample of what we've got coming. So I really encourage you to follow up and subscribe. And you know what? Let's just get back to work and have fun. And we'll get planning on this pro tournament. I want to thank BlasterTime for their patience and go out there and support them. They're going to be your flagship for the European market. And you know where you can find us here at in the U.S. So we've got a lot to get to work on. So.
Well, that was a refreshing change of pace, guys. Normally, I'm the one asking people to like, comment, and subscribe, but it sounds like that's the best way to get a hold of Dart Zone these days. And I do really enjoy what you guys are doing with the blog, and I'm excited to watch you flesh it out in the coming weeks and months, as apparently you roll out 10 additional blasters. And now that's all the chat is. The chat is just like, well, that's a lot of new blasters. So we're all excited for that. Hopefully Blaster Hub finds a couple of them off the books. And then I will point out, as they are the dedicated news outlet in terms of serialized news, Addie says that if you ever want to leak something directly to Twin, her email is open, so she would be happy to accommodate that. So thank you so much for your time. And
I appreciate the technology not hurting us too bad today. And get home safe. So get off the side of the road. So
absolutely, it's a good road to be stuck on the side of. Everybody's been very accommodating as they blitz past. All right, well, I'll give it back to Boff. Thank you so much for having me as your host, guys. I should probably plug myself here at the tail end. Hi, I'm Drac. I do lots of things. I'm very excited about this tournament. I'm very excited to bring you guys End War next year. I have a web store where I sell parts for blasters and a really small YouTube channel where I talk about all things foam flinging and hobby related. It's a terrific pleasure. Yeah, it's a terrific pleasure to get to be a part of Foam Fest. And it's incredibly humbling and amazing that they'll tolerate even my level of archaic technical difficulties over here. Thanks so much for having me, guys.